Black Gator, Unconventional Hood Street Figure. Topic, Pookie and Ray Ray versus Educated Lane, rivalry, shenanigans that goes on the internet, and I'm here to give a more thorough breakdown of both sides, Pookie and Ray Ray and Educated Lane. First off, I hate both terminologies because it's derogatory, it's divisive, and a lot of the times it's incomplete. You know the cons, the pros and the cons of both sides. So what I'm here to do is, to a degree, give a more thorough breakdown of both sides, the pros and the cons of a so-called Pookie and Ray Ray and a so-called educated lane. Now, me being an American black male, foundational black American male, I got a chance and an opportunity to have experience from both sides. I growed up in the hood / streets, ghetto, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, I had various jobs and just, been out and about, and I had some experience with the professionals, the so-called educated lames as well. So, I think I have enough life experience and, just was able to make an accurate analysis, assessment, and conclusion about both sides. But I will give a more accurate and thorough breakdown once I get enough subscribers. So I want you to subscribe to my channel, like, dislike, and leave your comments, because I'm not the smartest man in the world. I don't proclaim to be the smartest man in the world. So I know there's a lot of intelligent people out there. So I learn a lot from subscribers as well. So I will give a more thorough breakdown of it once I can get the engagement of the audience. But up until then, I'm going to have to make pre-recorded videos. So let's begin. Now, like I mentioned before, one of the things that I dislike about the so-called Pookie and Ray Ray versus so-called educated lane rivalry, shenanigans that goes on the internet, that, again, is divisive, is derogatory, and is incomplete. So let me start with some of the pros and cons of a Pookie and Ray Ray and a so-called educated lane. Now, the origins of a Pookie and Ray Ray is based off evil, slavery, violence, oppression, racism. So, that's the origins of a Pookie and Ray Ray. The systematic oppression and racism that foundational black American people, but males in particular, face in this country. So therefore, a Pookie and Ray Ray was created pretty much for our survival, for the most part, due to the conditions. So that's the origins of Pookie and Ray Ray. Now again, I'll get deeper into it once I get enough subscribers, because I'd rather have audience engagement once I do the thorough breakdown of all the archetypes of the so-called Pookie and Ray Ray and educated lane. So let me start with some of the pros of the so-called Pookie and Ray Ray, the males. Okay, one of the pros of the so-called Pookie and Ray Ray is they embrace being black. Now, one of the reasons is they're locked out of society due to how they look, where they're from, you know, their their energy, just their presence alone. So therefore, you know, we're pretty much rejected by society just based off how we is, how we look, So that's one of the reasons why we embrace being black. But another one is, even if that wasn't the case so much, we just, I don't know, we don't, European society and their rules and how they act and how they are and what they do, we just naturally reject it anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, we're the opposite of what the society says acceptable. Give you one of the examples, like, in corporate America, it's acceptable to be clean cut, you know what I'm saying, low haircut. But, with a so-called Pookie Ray Ray, we embrace our beards, our mustache, our facial hair, our hair on our heads, our afros, our corn cane rolls, our dreadlocks, our twists. I mean, we embrace all the cornerstone, keystone African hairstyles, along with, the jewelry, the clothes, the wardrobe that we wear, how we wear it, down to the automobile, so on and so forth. So, we just embrace being different and we embrace being black. And, that's one of the pros of the so-called Pookie and Ray Ray. And, just whether it's right or wrong, positive or negative, the hip hop culture, you know, is black. It's foundational black American, the origins of it. And, we embrace that. Our black athletes, all that. We embrace being black. We love the fact that we black and we different. So that's one of the pros of the so-called Pookie and Ray Ray. And again, we'll get deeper into this once I get enough subscribers. So I want you to hit that subscribe button and subscribe to me so we can start doing live streams and I can get the audience engagement. Okay, I'm moving along. Another pro of the so-called Pookie and Ray Ray is they create their own avenue for revenue. Now again, due to the fact, or one of the reasons is, again, we're locked out of society. So therefore, you know what I'm saying, we realize at some point it's in our best interest to create our own avenue for revenue. Now again, and another thing too, we don't like the construct of how, the rules, the regulations, and all the other extra stuff that goes along that, that you have to deal with working in corporate America. So, that's another factor as well. Now, again, positive, negative, right or wrong, whatever avenue for revenue the so-called Pookie or Ray Ray choose to go about it, that depends on that particular individual. But I'm just, speaking in terms of, you know what I'm saying, basically being an entrepreneur and, providing their own way for resources. So, again, that's one of the pros of being a so-called Pookie and Ray Ray, because, on a daily basis, you're constantly reminded that you're not welcome in society, really, but especially in the corporate world. So, That's one of the pros of a so-called Pookie and Ray Ray. Another pro of the so-called Pookie and Ray Ray, social skills with women. Now, again, positive or negative, right or wrong. For the most part, the so-called Pookies and Ray Rays, they have above average skills when it comes to women. And women seem to gravitate towards a so-called Pookie and Ray Ray more so than an educated lane. Now, again, this is not 100% and not always the case, but I'm just speaking from my personal experience. That's the case more times than not. And, you know, with me, because a lot of you guys on the internet that dislike and have this hateful disdain for so-called Pookies and Ray Rays, I'll be considered a so-called Pookie and Ray Ray. And, to be quite frank, throughout my life, I always had a positive experience with females for the most part. So, yeah, most Pookies and Ray Rays, they they got some type of swag about themselves and, they got their priorities together. Yeah, for the most part, they gonna have, pretty good skills when it comes to the women. And that's one of the pros of a so-called Pookie and Ray Ray. And again, we'll get deeper into this once I get enough subscribers to have a live stream so I can get the audience engagement. Moving along. Another pro of the so-called Pookie and Ray Ray. Hold on for a second. Okay, I'm back. Apologize for that. But another pro of the so-called Pookie and Ray Ray is they're a warrior / soldier. Now again, right or wrong, positive or negative, we'll get into that, once I get the audience engagement and my subscribers up. But, a lot of the times, Pookies and Ray Rays, they are forced to stay in dangerous environments, dangerous neighborhoods. And, you know, everything that comes with staying in a dangerous neighborhood. So therefore, coming up in that type of environment, they adapt and they adjust to their environment. And, more times than not, depends on how deep it is. They're in the streets and, what activities they may be participating in. Over time, they can become battle-tested warriors or soldiers. However, again, right or wrong, for whatever reason it may be. And again, we'll get into that, deeper, on a deeper level once I get the audience engagement from the live chats. But, yeah, a lot of the times, in a dangerous neighborhood, especially if you're in the streets, it's going to come times that, violent situations may come about and, either you survive or you don't. So those are some of the pros of a Pookie / Ray Ray. And I want you guys to subscribe and I want you guys to leave some comments and tell me what you think about it. If it's something that I left off, let me know. And again, we'll get deeper into it once I get enough subscribers so we can start having live streams. This Black Gator, Unconventional Hood Street Figure.